on. It's about as exciting as the ball drop. Hopefully. All right. Hey everyone, how's it going? Happy Sunday. All of a sudden we are thrown back into winter, or for the first time this season, we are now seeing real wintertime chill. You know, this morning it wasn't too bad, but stepping outside this afternoon, different story. It's outside for just a few minutes earlier and hands were already frozen, feeling like mid-January. Everyone wants to know how much snow we're going to get, when the snow is going to start. Let's look at the radar. We are seeing at least some kind of a mixed bag, some rain and some snow starting out east of Cincinnati this afternoon. Again, most of this, especially roadways, still obviously too warm, mid to upper 30s even. So don't expect a whole lot of accumulation, at least tonight, on the roadways. But at least we are seeing the first snowfall of the season. Shout out here to Highland County. We're seeing some snowflakes over in Hillsborough area. And as we are now looking into as well parts of Brown County, again mixing with some very wet, cold raindrops as well, seeing some of this push through the tri-state. So not too concerning, but just kind of a blah, messy, and yeah, lousy day. We're going to leave it at that because it is not nice out there as well. Cincinnati's west side, you are dry, actually a bit of a dry slot. So check this out. We are seeing that more colder temperatures, some snowfall, not mixed with rain. You look off to the west here in Indiana, just west of greater Indianapolis actually, seeing some pretty decent snow that is starting to accumulate as those temperatures and air temperatures drop below freezing. This is what we're looking at as far as the whole synoptic setup for us on this Sunday. Again, it was pretty fast and furious. We hit our high temperature of the day just after midnight. Actually, it was early this morning. 49 degrees, and it held steady there in the mid-40s at least through the first few hours of our Sunday, and then bam, cold front pushed through. Now we are clearly on the other side of some Arctic air, and so we have a couple waves of snow that we're tracking as we go through some of our Sunday. Again, not the main feature for today. It's the cold and the wind. It's for Monday, one blast of snow coming. We'll get to that in just a moment. For the time being, I think it's all about these cold temperatures. Yeah, no matter what we talk about or look at, it's kind of saying the same thing, but just fun with numbers. 25 or so degrees colder than yesterday. Of course, we were 62 degrees and sunny yesterday afternoon at this time. 'Tis a season for wild roller coaster temperature changes here from one extreme to the other. So we are obviously thrust in the heart of winter right now, with temperatures looking at the upper 30s for greater Cincinnati. Most of the tri-state at this point now into the 30s. For us this evening. So winter jackets, hats, and yes, dare I say gloves if you're going to be outside at all this evening, because we still have a pretty strong northwest breeze. It does get colder up to towards the northwest, 35 from Chicago, upper 20s in Minneapolis, and up towards the Marquette region as well. But good news, if you look just into southern Canada, we were tracking this air for several days. It was in the teens yesterday and even some single numbers. Things are moderating and balancing out a little bit there, which means the worst is over for southern Canada, and so for us it's going to be relatively short-lived. There's the silver lining. All right, live look for us downtown Cincinnati. All the leaves are brown now, and perhaps the skies are gray. And we are seeing, well, not a nice looking day out there. Maybe stay warm inside. Just really an opportunity to maybe get the fireplace going, winterize the home, as we are now seeing temperatures plunging. Most importantly, that feels like temperature this afternoon, 30 degrees. So those wind chills will be consistently below freezing throughout the rest of this period now. A strong northwest wind at 17 miles per hour sustained, gusts up to 30 plus miles per hour as well. Just kind of adding icing on the cake here. Again, a multifaceted storm. Why I think people are talking about it so much and wondering, especially about the snow, but there's a lot more to it than that, certainly a lot more nuance, at least to this forecast when we look at all of these factors. Wind chills, as I mentioned, right around 30 degrees, some spots upper 20s, so definitely need all the extra layers tonight. Hot cup of cocoa, all the hot beverages here. Okay, let's get to the all-important question of how much snow are we going to see? You know, first, second week of November, things are still relatively warm, as I mentioned, with those roadways, so don't expect a whole lot, but there's going to be one band that pushes through by tomorrow morning that we'll certainly need to pay attention to. Not concerned with tonight, even with some of the snowflakes mixing in for areas east of Cincinnati. Not going to say any accumulation there, other than maybe a light dusting at the very most through tonight. Now, tomorrow morning, still not concerned here with our morning commute. Should be just fine, but notice those air temperatures. We are now securely below the freezing point. I think some spots easily upper 20s as we are dry through most of the overnight. Here's this band of snow, which is going to be lake enhanced from Lake Michigan. So it's kind of, one, it is a storm system, but two, we're getting some of that lake effect moisture. And for us, we'll call it lake enhancement because it's not directly lake effect. But in any case, we're picking up some moisture fetch from Lake Michigan. So that's why we're going to see at least some of these bands and perhaps produce some accumulating snowfall. This is it though. When we see the accumulation tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. from north to south, we'll see a batch of snow push through. And that could be heavy at times for maybe an hour or two. Could lay down some accumulating snow. The first of the season. Who's excited? Hopefully some of us are, like it or not. I mean, hey, I got my Christmas mug ready to go. Got to get ready sooner than later. People already have some of their lights up on the street. If you haven't, don't worry, this is not a prolonged period of cold yet, so we are going to see a nice break. This is kind of a taste of things to come. In any case, tomorrow afternoon, again, it is a quick burst of some moderate, even at times heavy snow there. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow afternoon, or tomorrow morning, I should say, that the National Weather Service issues a winter weather advisory. It wouldn't shock me. We're not talking about crazy totals or anything like that, but just first snow of the season, that may be good enough. And certainly this first accumulating snow of the season, that could at least give roadways, especially bridges, overpasses, maybe a little bit of some icing by later tomorrow morning, early afternoon, briefly. So a quick note about snow totals here. Could see about an inch or so. Most of you won't see this total here, even if it does say an inch and a half, what winds up officially in our record books. I think by the end of it, though, half of this melts before it even actually sticks to the ground. And by tomorrow afternoon, too, same thing, most of this gone. So bottom line here, tonight into our Monday morning, how much will we see? I think everybody sees at least a trace to a half an inch. And I think officially we maybe even wind up with a little bit more than an inch or so. Some lucky few spots briefly could end up with 2 inches, but hey, as I mentioned, this is the nice time of year where it doesn't really do that much damage, doesn't really stick around that much as well, and we are going to see things eventually warm up. By the way, I'm going to end the live stream here, but one other note that I find really fascinating is that record low temperature for Monday is 31, and that was set back in 1913. So we have several other years. There was 32 and a 33, and I think a 35 as well. We'll see. It's going to be really close to record territory for Monday with wind chills in the 20s the entire day. So it will certainly be quite the shock to the system as we are seeing the first taste of winter. All right, I am going to prepare for the 6:30 newscast tonight. We are not delayed due to football. We actually have a show. How about that? Enjoy the rest of the games, though. I think they're almost wrapping up. And I will see you at 6:30 on Local 12 for up-to-date weather changes. And, of course, later on tonight, 10 o'clock on Star 64 and 11 on Local 12. I'll see you then, and stay warm. Stay warm.